Yeah. Tab for the bad little bitches in the city and it's all on me. Time no time when the love so blind that you're all I can see. Know the night won't be the same if you don't leave with me. Ass up, head down, every time you dress down, no I like it. 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 Good ass girl in the badass city, got the itty bitty titty, but the ass come with it. Got you hoping that a flash come with it. Looking single in the club, but you hoping that a man don't get it. And she pulling up late night, no tease, play fight, big jaw, gray white, fuck to the daylight, put her to sleep, cause I don't need no Xan. If she fucking with me, then she gon' need both hands, yeah. Big penthouse, spend another 10,000, nothing getting rent out, money getting sent out. Good brain, good head, get the sense out. Then I make it rain in the bed, pull a tent out. She likes the way I put shit down, and I likes the way I ain't gotta call her whenever I'm in town, but she know when to pull up on the block, throw the hood up. The Bucktown boy, wood grain with your foot up. Call me when you need somebody to work on that body the way that it should've. Yeah, I pull up AM, scotch color gray bands, whole room darker than Ray-Bans, and I'm sitting on that ass like spray tan. I would get it poppin' with you or your 8 friends, but look, I like it. 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 Likes the way I eat down. She likes the way I
Okay. We here. What's good, y'all? It's good, y'all. What's up, Big Mike?
How much beating?
Here we go. Another show, man. Another show on the road. You want to try to keep it sweet, simple, quick, in and out? All right, bet. Look, we got a lot to talk about. All right, we're going to try to cover a couple different things, but let's start with number one. We're going to chop it up. It's something that's always on the top of my mind every year. It's the national championship system, man, and what we deal with here at the semi-pro minor league level. You know what I'm saying? Here's my big issue with it. My big issue is that it seems like every year there's like 3 or 4 different teams that can call themselves national champs or champion of all. I don't know how to put it. You know, I can't hear you.
Instead of all semi-pro?
Yeah.
It's impossible to do that.
So I mean, when you look at the systems now, you got so we got the Sunshine Bowl, right, for the spring. Mike, I know you kind of new to the whole like way that things are because you took some time off and you coming back, but I know you know about the Sunshine Bowl.
Yeah, it's been around.
Yeah, so right now, as you can see with the flyer right there, 2001 to 2002, 21 years, and they've been doing it in Miami, Florida. This is the first year that they're not doing it in Florida, right? It's gonna be in Atlanta this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is crazy. This is historic, groundbreaking time. But the Sunshine Bowl for me, I don't know. I never really cared about it that much. I really don't know why. I couldn't explain it to you. Like, I've been playing semi-pro since like 2015, and like I always just looked at the spring the same way. Like in college, we just used the spring to get ready for the summer. Really just to get ready for summer camp, and we played in live competition. We even played a game. We might even get a scrimmage every now and again, but like I don't know. I just never really cared about it that much in semi-pro. But I will say that they do a really good job with the Sunshine Bowl of just being transparent and talking and communicating. They let people know how they come to their decisions. They let people know that they're gonna drop rankings. At the the periods that they're gonna do it. They keep everyone up to date with things that change. Being a part of the Sunshine Bowl last year, I thought they ran it excellent. I thought it was an excellent organization. We had the early game. We were up bright and early. I think like we got to the field at around 9:30. Um, and even being up that early, they had two commentators. They had the cameras out. They had officials on the field early. They were directing traffic. Like everything was smooth. When our game finished, we was off the field within probably like 10 minutes, and the next game was starting. Like we was off the field, and the next game was starting. The refs was ready. That team had gotten on the field so quickly that before I had even gotten all my stuff to my car, I had watched the whole first quarter. Like that's how smooth the organization was. So I'll give them a lot of credit for the product that they put together. But I don't know. What do you think like about the whole Sunshine Bowl system and how they do things?
So I know. So for me, it was now it's different, obviously. But when I was younger and I was playing with the Connecticut Giants, I know we had a couple of bids for the national championship, but it meant something more then because there wasn't many teams. You know, there was a lot. It was a lot more. Uh, there wasn't that. Oh, I played for this league in the summer. I played for this league in the spring. I played for this league in the fall. So the games meant a little bit more back then because you were playing a team fully rostered up. You know, there wasn't that, oh well, you only beat us because we didn't have all our guys because they play for this team at this point. And so it wasn't as watered down as it is now. I want to say anytime you hear national championship, I think it kind of gets you a little bit nostalgic just because of the whole college football.
Yeah.
Fun to sit there and tell people like, yeah, I'm gonna go play. They have no freaking clue what you're talking about because they're like, oh, what college do you go to? And you're like, no, it's not that. The only thing I would say that I thought this even when I was a kid was the best way they can do it is, and they might do it. So I might be saying this and it might already be happening. So I apologize if that's the case. But regionally, you know, have your number one semi-pro team out of that region, and then have those teams face each other. So you could really claim who's number one. You know.
Yeah. So that brings me, I guess that brings me to the Harvest Bowl, right? So we got the Harvest Bowl for the fall national championships. And this is how, I went on the
Play-
last couple shows, I shared my screen and showed like the Brooklyn Seminoles up there and the CT Panthers had a couple championships and then the Marlboro Shamrocks for years in the early 2000s, late 90s.
Mhm.
That's the Harvest Bowl. I played with the Hudson Valley Mountaineers last season in the fall, and they kind of have that system. We played the Blitzen Bears way out in Mass. I don't even know where we were, but I know it was deep in Mass. It was brick cold, but we had to play them to be the best in our, I guess, region, and then whoever won that game had to then play. I believe it was the Pharaohs.
Mhm.
Or the Rebels. No, it was the Rebels. They had to play the Rebels because we lost that game technically on the field, but they didn't pay for refs, if I'm not mistaken. So the refs showed up, and there was only three of them. It was like an emergency crew. So we ultimately got the win for it and went and played the Rebels, and Rebels beat us. I was out of town at the time. I was out of the country, so I wasn't there for that game. But that's how they do it because then the Rebels, after they beat the Mountaineers, they went on to play the Brooklyn Pharaohs for the Harvest Bowl championship. However, at that same time, there was a national championship game being played in Florida, and there was also a national championship being played in Texas, and there was another one being played in California. So, so it makes it hard to like decipher who is really the best team out. Sorry guys, I'm kind of late to the comments. Larry said, "Take your damn hat off."
I mean,
Todd, thanks, man. Todd, thanks.
shake my head.
Yeah, the two of us are both national champions now. We will get to that. Well, not national champions. Sorry, we are IFA champions. We will get to that. But with the whole system the way that it is, it leads me to what would be a better system. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I like the idea of having a playoff system. And the only way to get into the playoff system is your league has to have a certain status. So
Yep.
you got to play in a really good league. You could be the champion of a bad league and not get in. Then, after the champions are all brought together, they go by area, right? So the closest leagues to each other play each other first, and so forth and so on, until you get this huge bracket system, and then you play through the bracket. I see exactly how a lot of people will go against that and not like it. First of all, you might have to travel. That's the big one. Second of all, you taking a season and extending it basically. So now I have to play these games every 2 weeks, maybe it might be, but I'm gonna play probably 6 games in total for the next 2 weeks, and each time that I play, I'm gonna be traveling further and further. I could see that being an issue. Even if it's at a neutral site, if you won in New York, Connecticut, Mass area, and now you got to play the team from the Virginia, Delaware, PA area, and you guys try to meet at a neutral site, you still playing somewhere in Philly, probably. So you still got to travel. And then once you win that game, now you got to play the team from Florida. And then once you win that game, you have to play the team from Idaho. So I can see where some
It's not
people push back on that.
okay. Sounds fun to me.
It
but
does sound like fun. It sounds like a ton of fun.
I mean, the thing is that semi-pro. I mean, semi-pro is always going to be that problem where time, travel, people are going to bitch and moan about how far the distance, and don't get me wrong, like I get it. It's semi-pro for a reason because all of us have lives, jobs, families, and stuff like that. We're doing this for fun, not for well, some of us are doing it for fun, and then some of us are actually doing it for sport and the love of the game. But I think having it where it would be what you just said, more of like and I'm sure they do it somewhere in the United States, a tournament and all that stuff, and I know they do, but I think that'd be the best way to really, do who's the top semi-pro football team in America. I mean, they do it with high school, I mean, there's a way they do it with the high schools and certain.
And there's way more high school teams than there are semi-pro teams. Way more.
Probably not by much.
No, there's a lot more.
I know. I'm messing around.
Yeah.
Like I always say, Connecticut has 87 teams.
8,700.
But my number grows every time we have a podcast.
What do you think about a system where it was no longer spring and fall nationals? What do you think about there being a system where if you wanted to play for the national championship, you had to play in a league that was combined both spring and fall?
I think that would be a better way of doing it due to the fact that you're going to have more. I think if you do it like that, you're going to get more of the guys who are kind of how I was with the Connecticut Giants, where I was, I screwed up college, and tried out for the Connecticut Giants and then used the Giants to springboard my way into arena football and try to get to a professional, higher end of professionalism. I think if they did that, that would bring more of the competitive people who are trying to use semi-pro minor league football to go to another level.
Right.
So
Right.
I think the best way of doing it is taking out the spring and the summer leagues having an actual 16 game, 16 whatever, 16,
maybe
15,
12, maybe 12.
and more. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that 10. Even in the ECFL last year, we had 10 games. I mean, really, we only had like 7 because half the teams folded. But 10's a lot for a lot of people. But if you're going into that type of league that you're talking about, your family, your friend group, they're going to understand what you're trying to do. So, you're going to talk to your bosses, you're going to talk to your family, you're going to talk to your girl, your wife, and you're going to say, hey, listen, this next couple of weeks, this is what I'm trying to do. And my end game is this. So I think it'd be more constructed towards people trying to make that be their springboard.
Right.
Even if you stay in semi-pro, you never go to a football team. You never end up leaving semi-pro football. Listen, there's a place for guys like that.
Yeah, the GFL does follow that structure. I think you can also commercialize that a little better. And you could definitely get people to come to those types of games because you're talking about a lot more competitive of a league,
Yeah.
and more of a structure that's familiar. You know what I'm saying? I think we fall in a very weird place. We're not like the XFL where we need to create a different product in order to get people in. We're also not like the USFL, which I think is trying to distinguish itself from the NCAA. Like we have a nice place because most people watch the USFL because those are like some of the guys that they know and some of the guys they don't know. But these are guys that could be on like an NFL free agency.
Yeah.
Our guys are just really good football players that are not going to be NFL free agents. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like 1,000 people show up to a high school football game because those are those are the kids in their town from their school that they recognize. That's kind of the lane that we're trying to fill. Like we're the next level past high school,
Yeah.
but we're different from college. And I
Well,
think structuring a league like that and having that mindset, I think we can get somewhere.
Well, I think the best. All right, I try to explain to somebody because obviously I retired Saturday. No one believes that I retired, by the way. But so as of right now, I am retired. Let's just put it like that. But the one thing I was trying to explain to somebody who in my family was asking me, you're 41 years old, still playing. Like, what would you tell a year-old kid that's playing his last game in high school? Has no college calls. No one's looking at him. He's not even a one-star recruit. What would you tell him? And it's like, dude, your career doesn't have to end. Like you can play semi-pro football. Now, as you know, there's levels in minor league and semi-pro football. You have the guys who, and we all have them on our teams where these guys show up to practice and you're like, maybe you should go to a different, but that kid can still live out playing, So when you have that league that you're talking about where it's like, hey, this is going to be competitive. We're going to all go for it. There could be potential sponsorships for some of these players to move to another level, to move up. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think people have to realize, and I'm kind of bouncing around, and I apologize. I know that I'm kind of not bouncing around the position, but I'm getting ahead and then going backwards. But the one thing that has been on my mind since I retired on Saturday is with everything me and you've been talking about these last couple of podcasts, the one thing that I don't understand is why teams and some teams are. So I'm not saying that they have. How come, with social media and how many outlets we have in the world to sponsor ourselves and to self promote? I don't understand why some of these teams aren't bigger than they are. I see yourself, and I see Larry do a great job of promoting yourselves with your cut up films, the music behind it, all that stuff. Now, me, I would personally do that myself. I don't know how to do it. I just but when you have that ability, you can you know, semi-pro can kind of give some of these guys the feel that they are something. You know, you know, hey, listen, some people are going to still make fun of it and be like, "Oh man, you play semi-pro football, you're like 30-something years old." Like, dude, you play pool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? You go to a pool hall every Tuesday and Saturday to go play pool. You go, you know what I mean? Or you're in a pickup game at the Y for basketball. It's like,
what's up, Kenny?
you know, it's the same shit. It's the same shit. It's just we hit each other and we all get injured and possibly have to go to the. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
But as a competitiveness, I think for what our original conversation was with a national tournament, to make that something that's believable, they have to change the structure. Because even us, we're probably gonna go to a natty, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's on this forum and other forums are gonna be like the Falcons shouldn't have been there. They ain't do shit. You know, they're in a three team league. But if we go down there, we beat a team that's the top dog in their league, then what?
Right.
Then that kind of shifts that's going to lead to your point of, well, who is the best? Because we're in a 3-team league. We beat a team that just beat 12 other teams in their league.
Right.
And now it's like, well, who really does have the power in this minor league world?
Yeah.
I'm done ranting. Go ahead. You can.
Man, you close it up. You know, it's time to move on. We're gonna definitely talk about this in a few weeks when we go to our national. Hopefully, right? It seems like we're ranked high enough that we should be there. Todd is making a lot of great points, man, and I will just say that.
Yeah, I'm just reading what Todd just said. Yeah, Todd is 100. Yes, I have it on the CFL form. I know some of these dudes. Yep.
Yeah, so I think I've seen some players do the practice vlog thing. I've seen some guys do the life in a day of a semi-pro player. They've done the game day vlogs. All of that stuff is really cool. I personally, I'm way too locked into what's going on that day for me to ever set up a camera or to run with a camera or anything. I would need like somebody to do that for me. But we definitely should have more of that. I think there's definitely a lane for it. But yeah, as far as good.
No, there is definitely opportunities across the board for semi-pro football in a lot of venues.
Yeah,
that not even been tapped in yet.
Yeah, definitely.
And a lot of these commissioners, I'm not calling out names, but a lot of these commissioners, some of these owners, even some of these players, we haven't even tapped into it yet.
Yeah, not even a little bit.
Someone's gonna figure out the niche, and then everyone's gonna follow it.
Definitely. I think as far as like the national championship conversation goes, I think the best way is kind of what we've been talking about. I could picture these huge, well organized leagues that have lots of teams in them that are very competitive. The best teams are there, the best organizations are there, the ones that don't fold, the ones that travel, the ones that everybody wants to be on. And they all duke it out and they have their own little Super Bowl. And then you have this across the country. And now you got like 6 to 8 teams left. And then those teams can go at it with each other in a small, play for play bracket type of thing. These teams on this side and these teams on this side and these teams in the middle. Whoever wins, they can all at the end, duke it out with each other. All right, so let's move to the next topic. The next topic is rating the team. So we're gonna try something. Here. It's just me and Mike, but we're gonna try something here. We're gonna take a look back at the whole big league thing, and we're gonna go team by team, and we're gonna try to give these teams Madden ratings.
It's gonna be
so this is gonna be a lot easier for me than you.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna piss off a lot of guys if I say that.
But look, just from what you know is what you know. From what you don't know is what you don't know. I guess you could kind of use. We've talked about some of these games, and you've seen some of these teams go on these long stretches of wins and not. But look, we could go through it. Only gonna try to spend maybe like 20 minutes on this. So whatever teams we don't get to today, this week, we'll get to those teams next week. But I'm gonna keep notes here, and maybe we'll make something out of this. But let's go back to this so that you can see it. Let's start with the top team that everybody knows, the Brooklyn Seminoles, number 1 overall. And I did update this thing with the new rankings from week 9, so all of these rankings are updated. I guess I'll go first. So what we'll do is we'll do offense, then defense, then special teams, and then we'll average that out to an overall.
All right.
I'm gonna say the Noles offense is a 99. Most explosive offense I've seen at this level. And they're getting better, which is crazy. They're young. Defense, I'm gonna give them 98. And then special teams is probably the only place that I'm gonna ding them a little bit. And that's only because they put the younger guys out there. I'm gonna give them a 95.
All right. So you average them. They're about 97
No, they're
overall.
they're still 98.
Is it a 98?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
98 overall, that's not bad.
No, I mean, I wouldn't be pissed off at
I
that.
think I believe that Madden, when they do the overall, I don't think they count the special teams overall.
Oh, they don't.
So I think it's actually still a 99. So we're gonna go with that. We're not gonna average in the special teams. We're only gonna average in offense, defense rating. All
All
right.
right.
Like, you disagree with that?
No, no. I mean, don't get me wrong. Out of all these teams, so the Seminoles are one of the teams that started when I played with the Giants. The Seminoles weren't that great,
No, they
but
wasn't.
but they were one of those teams that I don't. Well, hold on, let me rephrase it. It wasn't that they weren't great. It was they hadn't found their identity yet. I think that's a better way of putting it. I don't want to say they weren't great because they had talent. We played them a couple times, and we did have some close games with them. It wasn't like we just blew them out of the water.
Right.
But they hadn't found their identity, which clearly now they have it.
Right, right.
And they had it for a couple of years now. So back when I was playing, and this is I want to say like 08, 09, like I want to say that's when they might have been around longer, but that's when their names started to pop up on our schedule and stuff like that.
That's when they started getting good.
Yeah,
Started getting good around that time.
And I remember us being that we were from Connecticut. We had beef with them due to the fact that they were from New York. Because not to get off topic, but like I can say this, up until recently, the New York or the Connecticut Massachusetts rivalry I had just noticed that now. But back when I was playing with the Giants, it was we hated the New York teams. Our rivalry was with New York. It wasn't with Mass. Like we never really cared for Mass.
Yeah, that's up until recently. I mean, when I was living in New York and playing in New York, it was like a Connecticut, New York beef kind of thing.
We loved playing in New York because our schedule had about 6 teams that were all from New York, and every time we went to a New York away game, we had to hear y'all from Connecticut, go back to your rich towns, all that stuff, and it was like about. But
the ECFL definitely has hyped up that rivalry between Mass and CT. You're right, Todd.
Yeah, he's right. So for me, the Seminoles have been around for a while, and I as a player have gotten the better of the Seminoles when I was younger. So I would say from what I know of them in the past to what I know of them right now, I would have no problem saying that they're
definitely. All right, so let's move on to the next team. Let's stay in their division, right? So let's go to the Philadelphia Kings. That team is in the NEAFL. They actually beat the Cobras, and they beat them by 6 points. And I checked the website, and I was trying to figure out if I'm bugging out or not. I got to talk to the guy who owns it. Siaplinsky, I believe his last name is. They don't have any more games on the schedule on the website. So I'm thinking they're going with the best overall record. Mm-hmm. And the Kings beating the Cobras this time They're 9-1. Cobras are 7-1. That actually gives them a better record winning percentage. So I think the Kings might have won in the AFL, but at least right now they're the best team. So um, I have not gotten to see their tape yet. They're one of the few teams that I haven't gotten to see the film on them.
Yeah.
But just looking at their numbers over the season, their offense is good. The offense is really good. I'm
Storage.
gonna have to say that this offense is probably like it's got to be at least like a 95.
All right.
They putting up points every week. The defense was suspect at times. They gave up some points that I didn't understand how they gave up so much. Maybe it was because guys was missing.
Yeah.
So I gave them a 95 on offense. They're a really good team. I'm gonna give them a 92 on defense. And then special teams, I'm gonna say all of the special teams that I've seen out of all the games in the NEAFL were weak. Even the Cobras, um, probably 88. Nah, I'm gonna say 85.
All right.
95, 92. So they're like a 93 overall.
Yeah, that's still good.
It's great. That's great.
I hadn't had.
So I mean, we've talked about this team a lot. I mean, I can go back to their schedule. Let me just pull up their schedule real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna try to do something here.
I'm gonna go to water.
Let's see. Boom. There it goes. All right. So I think everybody can see this. And as you can see, 45-0 on the Maryland Renegades, 42-0 on the Delaware Fire. They lost 44-14 to the Cobras. But then they, beat the Baltimore Rams 12-6. The Rams are a really good team. 21-0 the Knights, 6-0 the Rams the second time they seen them. 14-12 the Militia. And that was one of those games where I was like, how did they give up 12 points to the Militia? Militia is a decent team. Don't get me wrong, but their record is terrible. Then they 21-0 the Knights, 50-0 the Fire. For the second time, they 42-0 them, and then they got 92-0 on the Fire this season. That's crazy. And then they beat the Cobras 20-14. Mike, can you see that?
No, all you're seeing is the bracket.
You can't see it. Okay.
I don't think me or anyone. All we're seeing is the bracket you already had up there.
Let me see. Boom. There we go.
Yep. All right.
Okay, now. So like, man, they was just torching every team that they played. They was just torching them.
Except for the
So I think it's fair to say that offense is pretty good. A 95 is pretty fair to give them, And then they did it, they put up 20 points on the Cobras. The Cobras, the top 5 team on my ranking board for a long time. They were absolutely killing people as well.
They revenge us. That's good.
Yeah, so the 92 rating for the defense, I mean, they gave up 44 to the Cobras at one point, and they gave up 12 to the Militia. The Militia is ranked 23rd overall right now. So you gave up some points in a big game. Turned around and gave up 14 to the Cobras the second time. I think they're a good defense that is spotty,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
same time. At the same time, and obviously I have no clue at all, but that first game where they lost 44-14, they might not have had their whole squad.
They might not have, and that could have been the case for the Militia game too, where they almost lost to a pretty bad team, They came really close to losing that game, But at the end of the day, that's a part of it. You got to show up every week.
Mm-hmm.
You got to, if you want to be ranked high, you want to have all the. Hold on, I just want to see what Todd said. Sorry to comment so much, but not.
And I agree with Todd.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, we do this out of our time. We go out of our way. You know what I'm saying? we're trying to promote the other teams and try to promote this level as much as possible. And
Yeah, I think what we should start doing is just saying that all these teams suck, and then
that's when they'll come out. If you start saying every team sucks and stop showing them so much love, they'll come out.
Seminoles are at 77, and this team's a 62.
So I think that's fair. I think it's fair to say that. All right, so let's go to the next team, the Tri-County Owls. Now, I'm a big fan of the Owls, bro.
I know you are.
I hate them. I can't stand them, but at the same time, I'm a big fan of them because for me, they're the dark horse in the den. Like nobody really expects them to win it all, but they got a good chance of winning it all. Like they really could upset every team. Let me see if I could pull up their schedule real quick and see if we can get a look back on the Owls schedule. Entire schedule. And I just want to see the Owls. There we go. Okay. So, give me a second, guys. I'm going to get this down. I think the Owls is one of those teams where their offense is extremely good and their defense kind of lets them down a little bit.
So they're the Kansas City Chiefs?
They're definitely the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, so let's take a look at it. They won a close one to the Jersey Jackals opening week, which remember the weather was terrible that week. But they played a late game on Saturday, so the weather had slowed down a little bit. And they 16-0'd the Soldiers, but the Soldiers aren't that good. They lost to the Herd and then they lost to the Nose. But this is the interesting thing. The interesting thing is that they put up 20 on two of the best teams at the time. The Herd was undefeated, and the Nose, we know who the Nose are. They put up 20, only lost by 10 and 14. Then turned around and smoked the Wolfpack.
I appreciate that, Todd.
We definitely appreciate it. We definitely appreciate you.
Keep
going back to it, they smoked the Wolfpack, who hasn't won a game. I think they won one game by forfeit. They smoked the Kings, who they closed up shop. They folded. They said they done.
Who did?
The Kings, the Atlantic City Kings.
In Atlantic City?
Yeah, winless, couldn't get it going.
See, that always right. Not to get off track with this, but like you got a place like Atlantic City where you probably have a good amount of athletes in that area. And you can't even hold the fucking semi-pro football team, but Southington, Connecticut can?
Yeah. Well, I will say this, though, with the Jersey area. So, like, when you got teams like the Unit, that's not far from Atlantic City, the Jackals, who's right there in Camden, the Tri-County Owls is also a Camden team. They're in Camden, even though they recruit from Philly and Delaware as well. When you got the Herd, that's not that far in Jackson. When you got all these really big teams, and then you're trying to play in a league with all of those teams, you pushing it. You pushing it.
You are. But I mean, I could say the same argument with Connecticut teams.
But the Southington Vipers were in single A. They weren't in triple A.
No, that's where they definitely.
Right. So the Kings kind of messed up by going into a triple A league with the best triple A teams that you can find and trying to duke it out when there's 5 teams within an hour and a half of your area.
You are also correct, Todd. I agree with you on that.
Definitely, that's what dudes do. Definitely, because you got some guys that have a team right in their backyard and they travel 2 hours every weekend to go play with, the team that's probably going to win it.
I mean, I know a couple of dudes that are doing that right now.
Yeah. All right, so back to the Owls conversation.
Yeah, my bad.
Looking at these win losses, I would have to say I also seen the tape on the Owls. That offense is dangerous, boy. They got some wide receivers. They got a guy like Quan. They got a 6'5", 6'6" guy who could climb the ladder. But this guy looks like he plays basketball because he be boxing out. And he got some long arms. Go up there and grab that thing. The quarterback's very good. Honestly, if he wasn't in a league with Legree and freaking and G Block, he probably would be the MVP. Like,
they haven't played.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that this offense is a 96. Only reason I'm gonna say 96 is because they're very one dimensional in my opinion. Like I haven't seen them put the ball on the ground and dominate in a ground game. Like even just dominating the sticks with the ground where they just control the game with the run game. I haven't seen it.
I
Not
mean,
to say that it's not possible, just I haven't seen it.
to be
So,
fair, oh, they need,
huh?
to be fair though, there's no way they need to. They're putting up 40 points.
Honestly, on the Tide at the time, the Tide had just beat the Herd, so like everybody was big on the Tide, and they went out and they handled business, and then they turned around and put up 40 on the unit. And we know how talented the unit is.
No,
So,
you definitely. I know you talk about the unit a lot.
yeah, the unit is a very good organization. So I'm gonna give them a 96. That's high.
I'm gonna give them a 76, so they talk shit and come on.
Definitely. Defensively, though,
A 50.
I see 2 donuts up there, but they were against bad teams.
All right, so
They
they
gave
did.
up 64 points in 2 games to 2 teams. No
They
one's hurt.
had those teams.
Yeah. But they did stop the unit. The unit has a really good offense.
But again, the unit might not have had their whole squad.
Nah, the unit was there for that game.
Then never mind. Units suck.
The unit was there. They were light. I remember seeing some pictures of that game, and they were light on the sidelines. They didn't have everyone, so you kind of right about that. Maybe some of these guys on the unit are giving up.
Can I say one thing that's kind of off topic?
Got it.
Semi-pro football. We need to get fucking kickers. I am so sick of fucking sports. I can't stand
We
this.
definitely need kickers.
Like we need them. We need kickers, man. Like God, everything's fucking 44 to 15. Like Jesus Christ.
All right. Defensively, I'm gonna say the Owls are a 94.
Okay.
Nah, I'm lying. I was
90.
being nice. I'm gonna say 88.
All right, I was gonna say 91.
All right, so let's go in the middle then. 90.
All right, 90's fine.
90 fine. That works.
90 with improvement.
Now I see 20 and 20. I see 32. I see 40 and 40. I don't think they can kick the ball.
I don't think any team can kick the ball.
I don't think they can kick the ball. We can kick the ball. Falcons can kick that most ball.
So the only team that I have played on that had no kicker was legitimately the Vipers. Like that was
Yeah, we had no kicker.
You know, like exactly. We didn't have the guy who kicked it. I'm not making fun of you. But I'm saying, like, we did not have a bona fide kicker for the Vipers, but the Connecticut Giants,
Mike is a running back and a linebacker.
Yeah, for the Giants, we had 2 dudes that played college ball, and just they weren't done, but they weren't making it to the NFL. They weren't making. I think one kicker played CFL for a couple of years, and then he was just in his later prime and said, "All right, I'll play." And now he lives out.
Need that. A lot of these kickers are like, I don't know. I always said Black Panthers have one, just didn't get a chance to use them much. See, that's understandable. I always said, like, do what high schools do. Go recruit a soccer guy. Just go to a soccer field. All these people that play soccer, just go to a soccer field and just, hey, you want to kick a football? And somebody will say yes. But.
Yeah, it's not. Man, listen, pay them. Pay. That's the one position I would not even give. Honest to God, I wouldn't even give a shit if my owner. I would be like, the kicker has no. I want a bona fide kicker though. I want someone who could boom it fucking 50-yard field goal. You know what I mean? Like if you could boom a 50-yard field goal, I will give you your dues and I'll pay you weekly.
Well, if you go to the militia, not the militia, to the Mustangs, Kim can boom them. Kim can hit them about 45.
Yeah, nah, and I'm just saying though, like semi-pro needs kickers. That's gonna be a I'm gonna make a T-shirt.
You gonna jump on the totem pole and go?
All
right, so I'm saying the Kings are 85. No, not the Kings. Sorry, the Owls are 84.
All overall.
teams. And the reason I'm not gonna give them the 85, you can't be 85 or higher without being able to kick field goals.
Mm-hmm.
Talent wise, you might have the talent to like run down on kickoff and kick return and all that. But if you can't kick field goals, then 84 or lower. All right, so average overall, Owls are 92. The Kings are 93. The Kings are a better team than the Owls. Ooh, some people gonna be mad about that.
6.
You said 96?
I said they are 5. They are ranked 5 and 6. So
They are. They are. They are. They're right next to each other. I didn't even think about that. That's crazy. I mean the Kings are 9-1. Their only losses to the Cobras. They are a really good team. So all right, New Jersey Militia, last team in this division. The New Jersey Militia are in the NEAFL. They are number 23, but they're not very good. Do you even know anything about the New Jersey Militia? Have you seen any of their tape?
no, I apologize, guys.
It's okay. I mean,
I can't. Remember too.
it's not fun tape to watch. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, the Connecticut Giants. I think the league that we were in is gone. I think the NEFL.
Like,
I think I just saw is coming back. So I was like, oh, okay.
the NEFL's been around. I think I'm not really sure what the history is, but I know the NFL was around like 2 years ago.
I know the Connecticut Giants. So the couple of years that I was with them, we were in multiple leagues. Like we would go to one league 1 year, play out our contract, so to speak.
Yeah.
Then the thing was, if we dominated that league, we would leave that league and go to another league that was a little bit more competitive. So we were always looking to get competitive more and more and more. We didn't want to stay in the league and dominate and just be like, oh, we're going to win this every year.
Sounds like the nose.
Yeah, no, those are the teams that are. No, I mean, look, those are the teams.
What the Connecticut Giants were. They're that now.
Yeah, they friends.
Yeah. Todd said they kicker can hit from 55. Oh my god.
He say for practice though.
He did say for practice, but still, I mean, from 55, geez.
It's still good.
I only got to get you a little close. That's it. Got to get you to the 30 and you good. All right, so let's go back to this real quick. This is the Militia's schedule.
Oh, yeah.
They got smoked by the Cobras week 1. Back in March.
They tied? There's a tie?
Yeah, they tied. They tied the Fire.
Oh my.
They beat the Knights by 6, and the Knights are a terrible team. The Knights are equivalent, in my opinion, they're equivalent to like the Chargers, the Boston Chargers. They might even be
well, they beat them 20-0 after, right?
They might even be like they might be a little bit. All right, so I put them on the Dolphins level, the New York Dolphins from the TFL.
Good defense. Offense.
Huh?
The good defense, terrible offense.
Decent defense, bad offense. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. As you can see, Upper Maryland Stallions, they're a good team. They're not a great team. They're a good team, really good team, but they're not great. And they 42 owed them. The Fire tied with them. That was a like well fought game, but I think weather had something to do with that game that week. But then here's the crazy thing: like the Kings almost lost to them, and then a lot of the talk around the Militia over the last like 4 or 5 weeks has been they're a lot better than you think they are, and they got better. So like they started out bad, and then they picked up some pieces, and they got much better really quickly.
Until they play.
Yeah, so you see they turn around and they played the Penn Knights again, and they 20 owed them. So I would say this. I watched a game recently with them. Their offense moves the ball well until they get to the point where they need to score. So right when they get near the red zone or in the red zone, they fall apart.
The New York Giants.
Yeah. Like they'll move the ball and move the ball and move the ball, and right when they get to the point where it's like, all right, let's end the drive, let's put the points on the board, they fall apart.
Yep. Okay.
So I can see where they 20-0'd the Knights, the second time around.
You know what we don't talk about?
What?
We don't talk about either too. Coaching. Yeah, like who knows if these coaches are playing, just making terrible plays. You might tell in the world, but if your coach doesn't have a good play sheet, he might, you can fuck up a whole team.
You definitely can. You can ruin a team, or sitting a guy that probably should be on the field.
And let's be real, in semi-pro football,
there's a lot of bad coaches.
Yeah, there's a
lot of bad coaches.
You see it. You see the teams that you play against where it's like they really just call that, But so back to what you were doing.
All right, so I'm gonna say for the militia, their offense 86. Keep it all. I'm gonna say their defense
68.
Nah, I'm not that mean.
I'm trying to get us more views. Y'all are 40, 42. Y'all
say 80. Let's say 80. I'm gonna say because there was times where that defense looked good, but like in this last game, like they held up until so I watched them against the Cobras. They actually held up against the Cobras for a long time. Like they did really well. And then they just broke. They broke. And once they broke, the floodgates opened and it was over.
Yeah.
And then the team fell apart. They started making all kinds of mental errors. Special teams wise, 78. No special teams. Terrible. Terrible. What do you think the average is? 86, 80? You got 83?
I will say 83, 82, 83.
Well, yeah, because the special teams is so bad, right? So 82?
Yeah, I go 82.
Okay. 82 overall. All right, so we finished that division, but we're a little over time. So I guess we're going to do this a division at a time.
That's fine.
So what I'm going to do is the next time we see this, I'm going to have the rating next to the team. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the rating next to the team. But a quick recap, the Noles are 99 overall. They got a 99 offense, a 98 defense, 95 special teams. The Philadelphia Kings are 93 overall. They got a 95 offense, 92 defense, and an 85 special teams. The Tri-County Owls are 92 overall with a 96 offense, a 90 defense, and 84 special teams. I really want to see that Owls Kings game now. Like I really want to see that now. And then the last one is the Militia, New Jersey Militia. They have an 82 overall. They got an 86 offense, an 80 defense, and a 78 special teams.
That's accurate.
It sounds damn accurate to me. Sounds accurate, especially when you see the rankings and where they finished.
They might not like it, but
who cares? This makes it more interesting, man. Like now, I really want to see this come to light. Like I really want to see these teams in the division face each other twice a year.
Just tell them, like, wait till we start rating players.
Facts. All right, cool. So, great conversation so far, and I guess we'll just keep that conversation going for like the next couple of weeks. We'll talk more and more about just rating the different teams and stuff. But we don't have a lot of time, so maybe next show we might have to do like 40 minutes of just rating teams because in a few weeks, all this spring talk will be over. Right. Mike brought up a good thing to talk about tonight. I didn't even know, but the NFL has some new rules. So they talking about a whole new NFL.
They're talking about making that thing a flag football league all the way.
Mike, inform me because I don't know anything about it. I'm about to look it up right now. I didn't even have time to look it up today. What's the new rules?
All right. Well, there's been a couple of new rules. One I know is they are trying to implement where it used to be on defense, you couldn't hit a player that wasn't, a defensive player. So if you're running the ball and I crack back on somebody,
right.
took that out if the player wasn't looking at the ball. Now they're saying you can't hit that player even if he is locating the ball. So
What?
yeah, it was a big talk on the NFL news today on the NFL network that they want to implement the crackback out. Not even the crackback. They want to just take out the complete, like, you can't hit somebody who's trying to tackle the running back or the quarterback if they're looking at the ball. Hold on, I'll get you some of them right now too. So that's one.
I believe you, Ty. I believe you, bro. For real.
They changed.
What's going to happen?
So these are proposed right now. So the Philadelphia Eagles have proposed the use of 0 as a jersey. And it would allow kickers and punters to use any jersey numerically between 0 and 49 and 90 to 99. So that's one.
Oh wait, hold on. I can actually add it to the stream. So that's what I'm gonna do.
All right.
I found it. I'm gonna add it to the stream. Hold on. I got you guys. We get in there. Boom. There you go. Right there. You see it, Mike?
Yep, I do.
All right, cool. Hold on. Let's really look at this real quick. So the rule that you was just talking about is right here, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about.
Philadelphia amends Rule 5 to permit the use of 0. I think that's a great rule. Get rid of the kickers having the single-digit numbers.
Yeah.
And put them in 0. All the kickers should be 0.
Well,
and punters, I don't know. I guess punters be 99.
Yeah, well, it's like college.
Right.
You'll see a Penn State punter have 92, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I think what they're doing now is 0. If I'm correct, I believe Calvin Ridley changed his number to 0. Am I right about that? Is it Calvin?
I don't know.
I'm sorry. Who's the dude that just got in trouble? He's coming back. I think he's on. He was on Atlanta. He got in trouble for gambling. And he got suspended for the year.
Calvin Ridley?
Is it Calvin Ridley?
I'm about to see if I can find out.
Yeah, I think it is Calvin Ridley. Hold on.
Paris Campbell, Braxton Berrios, Roquan Smith, Byron Young. All people wear number 0.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley's going to be number 0 for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
I think that's dope, honestly.
I think it's dope. I think
it adds a little bit of flair to the NFL. That's marketability. I mean,
that doesn't really affect us because we already got receivers wearing letters as their numbers. So
I mean, Dudley's infinity.
Yeah, the Dudley's infinity, a number that doesn't actually exist. This rule by Philly to permit a team to maintain possession of the ball after a score by substituting one offensive play, 4th and 20 from the kicking team's 20-yard line for an onside kickoff attempt. So what they're saying is you got 4th and goal basically from the 20-yard line, and if you convert that, you get the ball back instead of kicking the onside kick, which is a play right out of the XFL's handbook, right?
Yep.
That's crazy.
How do you feel?
Where's that rule that you were talking about, though?
Oh,
there it goes right there by the New York Jets. Amends Rule 12, Section 2, Article 6 to expand the crackback prohibition to players who go in motion and go beyond center to block. split flow block a defender below the waist.
Yeah.
All right, I have no problem with the rule, Mike.
Mhm.
I don't have a problem with the rule. I have a problem with how the refs are going to officiate the game.
Right. They're not gonna call that right.
They're not going to call it right. And here's the big problem for us. We didn't even see this. Todd had accepted. He basically answered it already. That was really appreciate you. But for us, if we're going by the NFL, the NCAA modified, and we get these refs out there
Mhm.
who are already, some of them are already flag happy. They trigger happy. They can't wait to throw that flag.
Mhm.
I remember in this game, uh, Larry's running. I'm out. We got Dennis Coleman in at running back. Dennis goes the opposite direction. Larry drops back. I think it was supposed to go to Dennis, but Dennis went the wrong way. And Larry just sprinted out. And Dudley is confused and he looks to his right and he goes to the sideline. And Larry runs in and tries his half spin and gets hit. And I ran over to Dudley right away. I grabbed Dudley and I said, Dud, you got to look back inside. You got to hit the linebacker. Look back inside, hit the linebacker. He was like, yeah, got it. The very next play was a run play. He went inside, hit the linebacker. He hit him mid-level, like waist thigh level.
Yep.
This rule would say that Dudley's mid-thigh level block on a run play is an illegal crackback.
Correct.
I don't like that.
Okay, so being that I grew up in the 80s, I hate all this shit.
I hate all of it.
I don't like anything. I don't listen. I get the whole safety. Like I understand. I mean, my son plays football now. Your son, I'm sure, will play football at some point. Like I understand trying to make it safe for future football players. You know, and I do. I really do understand it. But at some point, you take away the love of why people fall in love with football. You know, like we love the aggression. You know what I mean? And like, listen, you know me, I'm injury prone. I would do all this shit over again in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So it's like there's some rules I do like, but I feel like if you watch the NFL and even college football, dude, how many times do you see a game that's 50 to fucking 30?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and then we get a game like a couple years ago, the Rams versus Patriots, where it was literally like what, 12-6 or some shit
Yeah.
like it was 6-3 most of the damn game. And everybody was like, this is a boring Super Bowl. And I'm like, man, this is one of the best fucking Super Bowls I've ever watched because both defenses were just fucking going in. You know, I mean, I play O-line now, but I've always been a defensive guy. But you know, I just think that crackback one, like at what point are you gonna take, you know, that away? And then how long before you take away a pulling guard?
So real quick, let's go back to this real quick. Like, piggybacking off what you said, right here, they're looking to clarify the use of a helmet as a butt, ram, or spear
Yep.
in language so that it could be better officiated, right?
It's smart.
That's smart because I think, what you're talking about, like, when does it get to the point where you can't pull anymore? When does it get to the point where you can't tackle anymore?
Mm-hmm.
When does it get to the point where it becomes two-hand touch? Like, if we keep going,
In that direction.
I don't know about you, but I remember when I was 9 years old, the first time I ever stepped on a football field, before they gave me a helmet, anything, the first thing they said to me was, it's a dangerous sport. You can get hurt.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to do this? Because once you get out there, you got to go full speed.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go full speed, you can get really hurt.
No, that's when you get hurt.
We all as football players, when we put them pads on, we accept the responsibility of our own safety.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, nobody wants a DeMar Hamlin incident.
Mm-mm.
Nobody wants. I forgot what the guy's name is, but I think he played for Tulane, and he got hit. He was paralyzed from the waist down. Um,
I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, that's happened a couple times when you have what's his name for the Pittsburgh Steelers a couple years ago, Shazier.
Shazier.
He was an up and coming player. Like you knew he was going to have a good career.
Yeah, like we don't want that. We don't want the concussions. We don't want CTE. None of us want that. And we play the game hard and we play it fast. But at the same time, we try to protect ourselves at the same time. I started jumping over people because I was going home every weekend and my legs were swollen from all the helmets to my knees and stuff. So I learned how to jump, you know what I'm saying, at full speed. Like we all do certain things to protect ourselves, but at the end of the day, like the day that I feel like I need the referees to protect me is the day that I stop playing football. And I get it for the quarterback. I get it. You don't want your quarterback taking an unnecessarily crazy shot. I remember back in the day, I was a part of the problem where you take that extra shot on the quarterback and you take the 15, but you take his ass out the game. You know what I'm saying? Because he's lighting us up. So I get that. But now we get into the point where I can't even hit you trying to make a play. I can't dislodge the ball. If it gets to you, it gets to you. And everybody knows the ball is faster than you. The ball will always be faster than you. So now I can't even make a play anymore. So
No, and that's the other thing too. It's like with the quarterback, I understand it to a degree, but my thing and this is probably geared more towards the NFL than anything, is in the quarterback aspect. You want to protect the quarterback, but they still only protect in certain quarterbacks.
the ones that don't run, basically.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, like in the last 5 years, there's been a little bit of a shift for, some of the calls. Like you see Josh Allen's getting the same treatment as Lamar in certain, you know what I mean? But like you got those quarterbacks like Tom Brady, you got those quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, who now is a new Tom Brady. You're not going to be able to touch him. You know what I mean? You're going to hit him, and it doesn't matter if you pancake him, you put him down on the ground, you carry him, put him down slowly like a baby. They're going to throw 15 on that. But for everybody else, defensively, like, I mean, you can't even do an over the middle hit anymore.
Nope.
Without there being a, he lead with his helmet. If your helmet hits his shoulder and his head from the impact ends up smacking your head, they throw a flag. And it's like, how do you stop that? If you're a running back and I'm a D tackle, me and you, that's the other thing that pisses me off. So you being a running back, right, and me being a D tackle or a linebacker, if me and you meet in that A gap, there's no penalty for you putting your head down.
No.
And then I have to take your hit. You know what I mean? But if I head into your chest, I got a penalty.
Yeah.
So
that's why I stopped playing defense. Because that's the only way I know how to hit. I only know to blow you the fuck up. I don't know how to slow down. I can't slow down. I was taught for years not to slow down.
It is impossible, especially in those trenches, not to. Well, in the trenches, there's really no penalty. There's really no difference in the trenches that there were, other than the ear slap. That's the only difference in probably the last 50 years is that Deacon Jones used to slap you in your ear hole and make you concussed. You can't do that no more. They changed that rule about 30 years ago. I think that's.
No, they also, I believe they changed the rule where defensive players can't use the jersey anymore either. You used to be able to grab the offense player's jersey and rip them across.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
As an offensive man, I appreciate that. As a defensive
so here's my thing. Like, these NFL rules, like this stuff should apply to us at our level as well. And I was having this conversation with Jim Harmon. I was having this conversation with Dave Patterson. I was having this conversation with somebody else. Oh, with Carl Oberg. Sorry, Carl, the owner of the militia, CT Militia. We were having these different conversations at different times too. This is over like a 4-week period. You know what I'm saying? But we were talking about how the rules in the NFL should apply to the same rules that we're playing. for the exception of a few. I could understand the 1 foot versus 2 foot rule because we wanna keep the pace of the game going. We wanna make it a little easier for these receivers. They're not as talented as the NFL receivers, same as the NCAA 1 foot rule.
Right.
But when you're talking about things like, you know, blocking the back penalties, and you're talking about defensive pass interference, and you're talking about, like clock management, we should emulate the NFL as much as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
But our refs are not to that quality. And when you have these changes, what bothers me and where it takes my mind is how are these rules changing going to affect our game? And if the refs can't make good calls now, if you force them to make even more minute decisions, how bad is it really going to get? Shoot, we got a problem with refs walking off the field right now. Not to mention the fact that they run the clock in every game. Skip Jenkins put out a post the other day. He said, "I just want to do a social experiment. I'm a ask, how long is a 15-minute quarter in semi-pro football in real life?"
Yeah,
And my response was 10 minutes.
really 8 minutes.
Really, 8 minutes.
Yo, like there was a couple games even right now where when we were playing where it's like, all right, that's the quarter, and I'm like, we just started.
Like, dude, it just started. It hasn't even been a real 15 minutes in real life yet. How is it the quarter?
And that's the other thing too, as far as like, especially in semi-pro football, if I'm a 5 minutes, if I'm a if I'm an owner and I pay for that clock and I pay for that scoreboard and we have the clock going and we have all that stuff going, and then the refs are like, oh, we're at 6:37, but the time up there says 8 something. It's like, no, link up because I'm paying for this fucking thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like that would piss me off so much.
I said the solution. So what the NCAA does is they have one extra ref in the booth, right?
Mhm.
But they have a headset. They wire to each other, so they're talking. So that ref actually manages the clock on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
I said all we do is we give whoever's doing the scoreboard a walkie-talkie. Everybody needs to buy a walkie-talkie. You got one walkie-talkie, and the head ref or whoever's doing the time has a walkie-talkie, and they talk to each other during the game. But having a clock keeps them honest, because I know we had a couple games last year where we didn't have a clock, and those games ended within an hour.
Oh
The
yeah.
entire game was done inside of an hour, an actual hour. And I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, I haven't even started sweating yet. This is impossible."
But that first game against the Warhawks, like the game went fast.
Fast.
I remember looking at you and I was like, yeah, we just did like a drive and it's already the second quarter.
Literally, we did one drive. It was a 12-play drive. We ran the ball 6 times, I think, or 7 times in that drive.
Then they got the ball second quarter.
They got the ball and they did like 3 plays, and it was the second quarter. Flip it.
Like
It was ridiculous.
like we didn't run the clock that much.
It was
Because we
ridiculous.
and I know that because we were fast pacing it because I was out of fucking breath by the time we got to our 8th play.
Yeah, but the other thing too is that the referees, and this isn't to bash all the refs because we got a lot of great refs. Shout out to all the great refs. But the other thing too is a lot of these refs are lackadaisical on the play clock when they want to be.
Mhm.
Oh no, OVO boys, we was just talking about y'all. um, they're lackadaisical on the play clock. Sometimes they'll let the play clock be a minute.
Yep.
Sometimes the play clock will be 15 seconds.
And I,
You call the play, you come out, flag, whistle.
yeah. And I think the reason for that is because they don't pay attention themselves.
I think they don't.
I
I
think
think they get caught out sometimes. Like, oh shoot, it's been 20. Yeah, y'all got 15 seconds left.
Yep. Yeah. I think that happens a lot with the referees, and I'm not like you said. Like I know there's some good ones that take it serious and they take their job and they do their job well. But I've been to a couple of games where those referees are like, let's make this game fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It's like, let's get the fuck out of here. Like, especially when the players start to argue with each other. That's when you can see the referees getting a little like antsy. They don't want. They think someone's gonna pop off.
When the players argue with each other and when the weather's not good.
Yeah.
When the weather's bad, ooh, they be counting down the seconds to get up out of there, boy. You know what I'm saying? But I've literally been on the field and witnessed a conversation between three refs talking about going to a barbecue and how they needed to end this game quick because somebody needed to go home and change. And I was just like, ain't no way.
Yeah. No,
Ain't
they
no way. So now you're gonna ask them same guys to make a judgment call on a block, whether it was above the waist or below the waist, whether it's a crackback or not a crack. Yo, how many times have dudes laid somebody out? Beautiful hit, head across the chest, like we've been taught all our lives, and they throw the flag. Why you
Yep.
throw the flag? Oh, it's an illegal hit. It's an illegal block.
Yep.
How was it illegal? You can't do that. Tell me how I can't do that.
Yeah, dude, look at the game against what was it, the Norseman? It was in the fourth quarter. I don't know why they threw it. I don't know why they threw a flag on me because I ended up, just throwing my guy, like not grabbing him and throwing him, like put him up and threw him, and
Bench press him.
he ended up saying, "Hey, he's holding me, ref," and he threw a flag, and he's looking at me,
Oh my God.
and I'm like,
Begging for a flag, turning into a flag.
yeah,
Oh, he's holding flag.
yep. But the thing was with that game was they already said, "Oh, we need to put that to 10 minutes so that we can what do you call it? We can get the fuck out of here because that game was already won by the first quarter. No offense to the Norsemen, but that game we had them. I don't think we touched the field until it was already 21-0.
The defense scored 20 points in a row.
Yeah,
Well,
well, it was
18. They scored 18 points in a row.
yeah. Like I didn't get onto the field until we were already up by fucking 3 times.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I barely played that game because my drives were over so quickly, and then
yeah.
rotation came in. I think I had a total of like 5 plays that I was in that whole game.
And I know from being an owner last year in the ECFL, I know Jim, to his credit, is trying to get collegiate referees. He wants referees that have at least called a 2 or a certain amount of hours of college football.
You're dealing with grown men. The speed of the game, the knowledge of the game, the level that you have to ref at is just different. You're not dealing with high school kids. You're not dealing with 14, 15, 16-year-olds. You're dealing with 30-year-old men, 25, 21-year-old men running at full speed. You know what I'm saying? It's a different level of expertise. You need to be able to work at that pace. And I feel like a lot of the times the game is moving too fast for these guys. Like they're not even seeing half the stuff that's happening. They're literally not seeing it.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'll never forget that play in the Warhawks game where the DN completely, like, my face is like this, and I snatched my face back. He just lost grip. Luckily, he lost grip, but I snatched my face back, and there was no penalty.
Yeah, that was the play I got hit.
Like, it's ridiculous. My whole head, everything turned. Nope, no flag. So, but then at the same time, those same refs will get on us about talking and bickering and our language and stuff. But it is what it is. All I'm saying is,
I don't blame them too much on that because sometimes the talking and the bickering goes on way too fucking long.
that's true. But all I'm saying is, I hope that these guys, in the NFL, I hope they understand that when they make these rule changes, that it's affecting every level of the game, all the way down to the children. You know what I'm saying? And that
I
these
think
refs need to be able to consistently ref these rule changes that they make.
Yeah, I think they do, but I also think that it's all going to be predicated to how well the offense is going to score.
At the end of the day, I think the only reason that these guys are putting out any of these amendments to any of these rules is because they feel like in some way it's going to benefit them anyway.
Yeah.
If they didn't think that it was going to help their team win, and at the end of the day, they're just trying to, bottom line, it's a business.
I don't know why the Philadelphia Eagles are proposing a 4th and 20 rule.
They crazy as hell.
You guys were doing 4th and 1 all the damn time. I don't know why that.
All right, so let's talk about the weekend recap and the upcoming games. I think we'll skip the weekend recap. Like, not a lot of crazy things happen this weekend. So let's really just talk about what's coming up. Biggest game for me All right, let's do it in reverse. Let's not do the biggest game first. Let's do
Okay.
it in reverse. The TFL starts their playoffs. Everybody has a bye except for two teams: Dolphins in the weekends. The Bengals. If you don't know, in the TFL, every single team makes the playoffs.
Really?
So I believe they have 7 teams this year. So what their idea was that the first week of the playoffs, they take the 2 worst teams, the 2 bottom seeds, and they play each other to make it into the playoffs.
Gotcha.
I saw some conversation. I'm not gonna say who said what, but I saw some conversation that this game is not gonna happen.
Oh,
One of the teams is saying that they're not showing up. Um,
Bengals.
I don't. I'm.
Listen, I don't even know these teams. I'm gonna go. They just
All I'm saying is I seen the words go out. If you're in the forums, you probably seen it too. But this is the game that's scheduled. TFL playoffs. The Dolphins are 1-5, right? Let me just double check that. They're 1-6. The Bengals are also 1-6. The Dolphins beat the Smash on the field, the Syracuse Smash. The game ended early. The Brooklyn Bengals have not won a game on the field. That one win that they have is a forfeit from the Dolphins. The Dolphins forfeited to the Bengals. That's their only win. So
gosh.
neither team has beaten a team in the TFL yet.
All right. Blink twice if it's the Bengals.
And 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 neither and neither team. So neither team has beaten a team in the TFL yet, and
Yeah.
neither team has actually finished a game where they were winning. Yeah.
So it's kind of a game.
Yeah.
To agree for them.
Yeah. And a lot of the guys who made up the Dolphins roster that were the guys that I was like, okay, they got these guys, they're gonna be okay. They're gonna be decent. A lot of those guys have given up on the team. They still have some really good talent on offense. They really do. They still got some really good guys, like football guys, but they don't have the talent to compete anymore. And the Bengals haven't had the talent to compete for 30 games now. So,
That's that's the other downside to semi-pro football.
yeah. So, we're gonna do predictions, but we're only gonna do predictions this week on the games that we talking about, the biggest games. So,
Go Dolphins win that one by forfeit.
I'm gonna say that they play the game. I hope they play the game. And I'm gonna say it's 6-0 Dolphins if they play.
Yep. I'm sticking to my prediction.
2-0 Dolphins. Okay. The next big game is the Herd. They have to go to the Jackals. They traveling down to Camden. The Herd and Jackals is a big game. I mean, if we go back real quick, if we go back to
So I'm gonna go with I've picked the Herd twice and they've lost each time I've said it. I think. What's their record?
the Herd is 9-13. Not 9-13. The Herd is 9. The Jackals are 13. Let me see if I can pull up the rankings real quick. All right, there we go. So the Herd at number 9 is 5-3. The Jackals at number 13 are 4-3.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
That's a close. That's close.
This is a big game. This is a big game.
Oh, I'm still no offense, Herd, but I've picked you twice and you've lost both games. So I'm gonna go with the Jackals.
If we matter of fact, if we go to the standings, let me pull up the standings from the den.
Oh my god, I am so sore, dude. I worked out yesterday.
I practiced yesterday. There you go. So in the standings, you can see how big of a game this is. The Herd is number 4, and the Jack Boys are number 6. They got the Jackals 4-4. I might need to update this. I gotta look into why they're 4-4, not 4-3.
Where's the game being played?
The game is being played in Camden at the Jackals.
I'm going with Jackals. They're 3-0 at home.
They are 3-0 at home. Oof, man. But the Herd is 3-0 on the road.
Yeah. You know what?
It's a game, boy. It's a game. I'm telling you, it's a good game. This is what my prediction is 14-16. The Jack Boys upset the Herd. The Herd is on a 3-game losing streak right now, and I think the Jack Boys gonna capitalize on that.
Go Jackals as well. I'm gonna go Jackals as well. I'll go 12 to 8.
12-8 Jackals.
Because there will be a 2-point conversion somewhere.
Okay. All right. I'm cool with that. I think this game, as you can see on the Den's official site, they're only 2 places away from each other. When you look at my rankings, I got them within 5 places of each other. This is a big game. The Herd drops this, and the Jackals win. The Jackals could jump into the top 10. The Herd will drop down somewhere near 15. They'll swap places basically. But this is huge for like playoffs, for like home field advantage and things like that. This is a huge game, and both teams need it really badly. All right, so last game that we're going to talk about. I'm glad the OVO boys dropped in for a quick second. We're going to talk about the OVO boys, the Owls. They got to go to the Hitmen. They got to take a little bit of a trip. They got to go out and see them boys in Central Penn. Man, the Owls have been rolling, dude. They've been rocking and rolling. They've been on fire. But the Hitmen, to me, they got an NFL level quarterback. And this is one of those guys that it's not like, no offense to you, Mike, but it's not like he was on a practice squad or he just, he went for a couple tryouts and didn't actually make the final roster. This guy was on a roster for some time and he played. He has stats in the NFL.
It is what I can't take offense to that.
Yeah, this is a top dog. You know what I'm saying? This is a guy, Dave Legree. He's
and that's a very prestige position.
Yeah.
No.
It's a hard position to get there. He played at the University of Syracuse, dominated while he was there. Mm-hmm. I played with this guy. He's legit. So, seeing the Hitmen finally buy in to Dave Legree, you could tell. Like playing on the team with him,
one thing,
and seeing the Hitmen, watching them, they bought in. They understand that he's a winner, and they're doing things at the level of a winner, and they look different now. They don't look like they did the first couple weeks. They look really good now. I think this team is getting on pace with the Knowles. They get it. And it's a collision course for me.
How old is Dave Legree?
He's up there. He's older than me by a little bit. He's got me by a few years. Yeah.
He's got years left on him, maybe.
He's in his mid-30s, but he's a quarterback. So honestly, as long as he stays in the pocket and stays clean, he could probably do this forever. He could probably be playing. He could be 50. His talent level is that good where I could see him playing at 50.
Trust me. I mean, Connecticut Giants, we had a guy named Craig Dobson, and he was Brett Favre's. He was a third-string backup on the Super Bowl championships.
Crazy.
Okay. He reminded that every time we talked.
So the Owls just in stride right now, but I think they're all offense. They got a guy on their defense that is up there for DPOY, but as an entire defense, they're all offense. I think the Hitmen get this game 31-20 over the Owls, and mostly because they're at home, and secondly because they're figuring it out. They're definitely figuring it out.
What are the rankings of the Hitmen and the Owls?
Let's go back to it.
Just so I can.
Hitmen number 4 overall, and the Owls number 6 overall.
Jesus Christ.
Hitmen are 7-1. The Owls is 6-2. And then when we go to the Den standings, the Hitmen are number 2 in the Den, and the Owls are number 3. Both teams are undefeated away.
Yep.
Both teams have losses at home.
All right.
The OVO boys have put up more points than the Hitmen, but they also given up more points. I mean, when you look at this, Dan, it don't get no closer than this.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can say is that the Owls are on a 4-game win streak while the Hitmen are on a 7-game win streak. And the last time they lost was to the nose.
which is enough.
Week 1, when they were at their weakest.
All right, so I'm gonna go against you, but not just to play devil's advocate. So I'll say Owls, and I'll say that it will come down to a mistake, a fumble, something like that, that will turn in their favor. But I'll say it's gonna be like 35-28 ish game.
35-28.
You know, I mean, I probably won't be 35-28 because you know why already. You know, it'll be 33-26, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I'm saying 31-20. And I think I'm gonna stick with that. It might even be for the sake of like points, 32-20 or 30-20.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's gonna be somewhere around like that 31-20 mark because I think the Hitmen will get out ahead. I think the Owls will make mistakes. I think they're gonna be a little excited. Um, and offensively they'll make a couple mistakes. I think defensively they're not gonna be able to slow David Gree down. He can also run.
All right.
Not only can he dot you up, but he can also get out the pocket and run. And they got 2 running backs that are doing pretty good. Rosen Thu, I think his name is. Forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, but he's a solid running back. He can get it going. But I just feel like the O line they're not mobile. They don't move enough. They definitely don't get to the second level. So you're not seeing how good the running backs really are because they're not getting the next level blocks to really break through. Um, and we talked about how difficult it is to play running back at this level because of the talent out there defensively. It's just like in the NFL. Like if there's no second level blocks, the running backs are not gonna have a great season. It's the same thing in semi-pro. You got to get to the next level because guys are quick and they're talented. They know how to tackle. We're not going up against little kids. So um, I think the Hitmen will kind of squeeze out of that one. And for me, this is the big game of the entire weekend. You know what I'm saying? Out of all the teams that are playing, this game is the one game, if you can watch it, this is the game to go see the Hitmen versus the Owls. It's going to be nice weather.
God,
There'll be no excuses.
so upset about the nice weather, man. It'd have been nice to have nice weather at some point in our game or seasons.
So we're just gonna wrap it up. We'll take one last look at the standings. The Noles are still at the top, the Eagles still at the top, the Falcons, we won our championship. We are champions. As this goes along, you will see the champions will have a C and the runner-ups will have an R. So the Patriots are at 15th. They're the runner-ups. I don't believe they're playing any more games, so that 4-3 is final for them. The Green Wave could potentially jump ahead of them. The Tide could potentially jump ahead of them. That's about it. There's not too many teams that really. I mean, the Bengals and the Wolfpack also could jump ahead of the Patriots with wins. But we'll see how things shape up. But mostly, we're going to see a lot of movement in the top 14 teams. We're just going to see things shift around as games go on. The Cardinals are likely going to go undefeated unless the Warhawks put an end to them.
I heard a rumor about that though.
Huh?
I heard the rumor about that.
What'd you hear?
I heard the Cardinals and the Falcons might play, or at least I'm trying to manifest it possibly. But I know it's been out.
I don't want to play the Cardinals. I want to play the Eagles. There's no sense in us playing the Cardinals. The ECFL spring league is weak.
I mean, I'm not. I'm just saying. I saw on the forums was that some Cardinal players were saying some shit. So
yeah, the Cardinals wanted to play us, but if they really wanted to play us, they would have stayed in the IFA. They didn't.
Wanted to play us. We had a couple open slots.
Yeah. So.
And if you guys come back for a couple of games, I have no problems playing a couple.
Yeah, the team that I would want to play if I got an opportunity to play that. Sorry for my phone. Would be the Eagles. I would play the TFL team that wins. If I'm not playing the Eagles, I want my get back for the Green Wave game. And if we can't get either of those, then I'd be willing to play one of those teams in the den that are good but not the best. So like the Owls, the Tide, the Herd, the Unit. I'm not saying that I'm ducking the wreck, but being smart about it, I wouldn't want to play the hitman. I wouldn't want to play the nose because it's just not smart. There's a lot of downside, no real upside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Even if we beat those two teams, like I was explaining this to Larry the other day, even if we were to beat the nose, the conversation wouldn't be, oh, the Falcons are that good that they beat the nose. The conversation would be, what the heck happened to the nose that they lost? It would be some kind of excuse, or somebody would say, do it again or something. We would never get the recognition for it. So there's a lot of downside if we lose. There's very little upside.
No,
But beating a team like the Owls or even the Philly Kings, like those are the teams I would want to play. I wouldn't want to play the Cardinals.
well,
A year ago, 6 months ago, heck yeah, we need that. But
I
today,
I highly doubt we play anybody at this point. I think most teams are getting ready for their fall season or their summer season, and then national.
it's a lot of gymnastics to get the game done. I think the only two teams that we actually have an opportunity to play over the next few weeks before the summer starts is the Eagles and the Cardinals. That's it. Those are the only two teams where it actually would make sense to even play. Um, the Green Wave have a slot, but they're never going to take that game. And if we had to choose between the two teams, I'd rather play the Eagles. But
I'll go with the Green Wave.
it is what it is.
I wasn't. I didn't.
They're not taking that game. They're not.
I, yeah. Well, the reason that I say the Green Wave is because I wasn't. I wasn't on the team yet.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind.
Empire State Wolfpack, watch out for them. They the upset boys. They number 17. A few weeks ago, they was like 28. They done slowly work their way up. They in the top spot in the playoffs for the TFL. The Bengals lost to the Ducks. They're mad that the Ducks are ranked higher than them in the Nationals and all. You lost to the Ducks, and the Ducks worked their way back up. Remember the Ducks at one point, I think they were 4-0. They were like in the top 10. They working their way back up. And the Black Panthers took an L. They got beat the heck up by the Cardinals, beat up bad by the Cardinals. But the word on the street was neither quarterback, the starter nor the backup, showed up for that game. So
That will do it.
that will definitely do it. We got a bunch of teams that closed up shop. The Atlantic City Kings closed up shop. I think the Norsemen are done. From what I'm hearing, the Chargers are done. Uh, yeah, the Crusaders are done for the season. The Lightning is supposed to be playing the Cardinals. I don't think they show up for that game. They might be done. So
Nah.
we get into the end.
Oh, I think the Lightning's done.
Yeah, I think the Lightning is done. I don't think they're showing up to that game. So
I think a lot of the guys in the Lightning are just going to focus on summer.
yeah. So listen, we got the Black Room. This I didn't update this. It says May 16th. The next Black Room is this Tuesday coming up. What is that? What day is that? That is the 30th. That's May 30th. So the day after all the barbecues and the day after the holiday, we're gonna get an interview. I'm not exactly certain exactly who we're gonna interview yet, but tune in. The last one was Mr. Wells, head coach in the arena, talking about starting his own league, entrepreneur, visionary. You know, if you haven't seen it, I'm gonna be posting. I've been slacking a little bit. I haven't posted any of the videos to YouTube, but I'm gonna post all of the videos to YouTube and I'm gonna share them. So you'll be able to go on my page and see that. Mike, I'm pretty sure Mike will share it too. Definitely go, and it was a great interview, one of the best interviews we've ever done. He had a lot of information for us, and there's a lot more to come. So definitely check out that. And this next Black Room is probably going to be another good one. I got some guys in mind. I know some people I had on the list waiting to get their opportunity to be interviewed. So it's coming. But listen, we're an hour and a half in. It's time to go home.
Yeah, it's going. My phone's about to shut off anyway. I got like 3% left, so either way, it's gonna.
So listen, I appreciate you coming out again, Mike. You know,
I enjoy this.
we got a good thing going on here, and we're gonna keep bringing it. Next week is gonna be fun. But listen, enjoy your weekend, have fun, barbecue. Everybody be safe this weekend. Really quick before we get out of here, just a 10-second moment of silence. We lost one of the greatest football players, you know, that ever lived. And I put a post up on my Facebook. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure everybody has heard and has seen. He's a guy that I tried to model my game after when I was young, and he's a guy that in every game that I've ever played, I've recreated him. Absolute legend. His tape speaks for itself. But he was a great man. He was a leader. So, moment of silence for Jim Brown. Everybody just give us a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. Rest in peace, Jim. You'll never forget that there's bigger things than football, y'all. So, appreciate everybody coming out tonight. We will be back next week. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, of course.
See y'all at the 50.
I got you.